Alright, and here we are again. This is my third video today. Taking me longer to edit them than it does for me to shoot them. I don't know if I'll get them all posted today, but anyway, this is a Ficus tetensis, I think. I'll have the spelling of it in the description. It actually said, the label that I got, it said Ficus tetensis petersii or something, but when I Google that, I come up with nothing. When you look at the tetensis or whatever, it does come up with something. The cuttings take really easily. This is just a cutting. I don't know, I don't really have the angle set up all that well because I'm not going to leave this angle for very long. But the cuttings all take, I don't think I've had a single one of these give up on me yet. And then it grows and it grows, I don't know if you can see, but just how flexible it really is. And then sometimes if you get it right to a certain point, like you can see here, the wood actually goes from being that light gray, and then, you know, that's actually, I'm sorry, it actually goes from the brown to the light gray. The light gray is when it starts getting lignified. And if you can catch it right at the right time and you do a whole bunch of bends to it, it actually keeps it even without wire. The mother tree of this is actually looking good now. I made a lot of mistakes with that. That was the first tree I bought from an actual bonsai nursery. I made every mistake in the world whenever I make a video on that one. But anyhow, I took this cutting, I put it in this pocket with a rock. I don't think I took any pictures. I didn't even really think it would survive. And at this point here, I'm just pulling a weed out of there, but I've got so many horrible root over rock projects. I just want to kind of dive in here and see what this thing looks like. So I will swap this camera angle up, get it in that mixing tub, dump it out of there, and you guys will be just as surprised as I am because I have no idea. I can tell it's pretty big just by feeling it, but I have no idea what it's going to look like. If it doesn't look like it's going to have a good hold of the rock and look like a good root over rock project, which are, like I said, they all don't turn out exactly how you had envisioned. But if that doesn't look very good, I'm going to go ahead and maybe just try and get a good root spread on it and get it in a real small pot of some sort. But anyhow, I'm going to change the angle up and I'll be right back. Alright, move that back a bit. Hopefully you guys can kind of get this whole picture in here. I was going to do it where it was sitting, but I kind of forgot. But I'm going to go ahead. I was going to mention, when I was talking about the brown stem goes to the white, I bend this all the time, even though they're still brown, they're not white yet. If I didn't, this would just be all like this. These would all be like this, standing straight up. Kind of the whole purpose of the wire and everything. But this is, you know, this was not ready for wire. This, you know, it's been growing on the rock. I've been just trying to see how that works out, so I've been just kind of bending it by hand. I'm going to cut pretty much every growing tip off. I'm not going to defoliate it or anything like that. I like to leave as much life down below as possible. Cut that one. That was getting super long. And nip that guy off. Some of these, this is a little skinny branch coming off of there. I might leave that growing tip. That might not even survive by the time I get done knocking it around. But I did want to cut some of these off before I get going here too far. Just kind of tend to get in the way. And my curiosity is getting the better of me. I really do want to see what this is going to look like on the rock here. It looks like it's going to be good. I have a couple of training pots kind of in mind that I might be able to use. Or, I mean, I might even just try to shove it back in here. It'll just satisfy my curiosity. Like I said, I didn't take any pictures of this guy at first. I really don't know what this is going to look like. But let's see what we got. And we've got another big ball of soil. That's pretty much rock hard again. There's some of the rock there. I switched the angle just a little bit, but this really shouldn't take long. I can already tell that this was in fact mostly rock in here. And so this soil is just kind of falling right off. And let's see. It's definitely gripping it. You can see there where it was gripping it, and it grew right down and bent and probably hit one of those holes. I don't even know. I took a video of me plucking this out of the ground earlier today. I don't know where I'm going to fit that into my edit, but hopefully you've probably already seen it somewhere. Let's see. I mean, do I want to leave it on this rock? See here, most of it has a pretty good grip on the rock. It does. I must have put a little bit of dirt. I must have put a little bit of dirt in the bottom of that. Because you can see here where it also grew past it. I think. Now let's see what we got here. I think I'm going to go ahead and take and get this off there. That's where it had grown past the rock. I think I had noticed on a couple of my other root over rocks that if you didn't have some dirt under the rock, it would just sit and circle and circle and circle and circle. And really wouldn't do much else. If this tree was a little bit bigger, I'd try to grab a hold of the tree and see if it would hold the rock up. This rock is pretty heavy, but actually that may wind up being a pretty decent one, because by the time this gets big enough to be something kind of, I don't know, I'd say worth showing, whatever, even though I always talk about how I never really want to show anything, but it should be the right size for it. A little bit of, you can see there's a little bit of give in the rock, or a little bit of give in the stump in the rock, but I could plant it up high enough, and this thing should get enough off. Once it rains a little, should start showing that off a little bit better. I think I will leave it on the rock. It does have this one, I don't know, it's not a crossing root, but you can see here, it's probably, I set the cutting down on the rock. I can almost tell what happened now. I set this cutting down on the rock and it started growing, and that was just its tap root. That was the one big root there, and it just went that way. So actually, yeah, I'm gonna go hunt for a pot for it. I may think about trying to cut that thing off once I get it set in there. Once I get it set in and get the rest of it, because I do have another good sized one over here, gripping the rock pretty good. But anyway, I'm going to try and find a more appropriate pot for it. I'll be right back. Alright, I think I found a good pot for it. Just a Chinese production pot. I did, of course, get it on a discount. I guess it's got a chipped foot. So I've already got the screen in. And I already put like one of these container or whatever this might be, full of bonsai soil in there. Of course, now that I'm this far, I do see the chip in the foot is on this side, which is, yeah, this side I'm probably going to keep as the front. But I'm going to finish backfilling it. I do believe I'm going to prune it down just a little bit shorter. Especially since I decided to keep the rock. If I wasn't going to keep the rock, or if I was just going to put it back in that white pot I had it in, I probably would have left it pretty tall and let it run. Also, I mean, because every one of these cuttings that I've ever taken from this tree, or from its mother tree or whatever, because every one of them has always taken, I really wouldn't be too concerned about cutting that taproot there, but I think I'll leave it. You know, for me, like, you see some people with these root over rock maples, and everything looks like looks like a beautiful tree just spilled over the rock, beautifully put there by man. I like to kind of make it look a little more like, you know, oh, this could be something that you might come along if you were walking along in the mountains where ficus trees live or something, and that's kind of what they look like. They'll get that little snaky root and just where they hit a rock or something like that and just kind of change directions, however it is that, you know, it got seeded in there or whatever. And now that it's up out of that other pot, after a little bit of rain, I mean, I could also clean the rock off a little bit better. I mean, right now you can barely even see that it's on a rock. You know, the side there you kind of bid, but after the rainy season and everything, I'll probably take a toothbrush and clean up the rest of that, just see what that looks like. Hopefully the stump thickens up a little more, kind of combines itself with that. But let's see, it should be in there pretty solid. I would like to, you know, you got this one straight up one now, and even now, I can feel it's lignified some since I cut it before. It is one of these things I've noticed with a lot of ficus. Before you cut them, they'll be just as flexible as possible. You cut them, and you know, it could be my imagination, but it seems like this thing's a little bit more lignified than it was an hour ago. But I'm going to wire it up and maybe shorten this one down a little bit. Should be a nice looking tree one day. And there we go with some wire on it. Again, the front side and the back side. Back side does not have much going for it now that I look at it. But over time, and with the rains coming and everything, it should kind of fix itself a little as time goes. Shouldn't be a horrible root of a rock, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead, get some of these bent into place here to like to kind of eventually keep the foliage kind of close to the rock, or at least some of the branching really close to the rock. As much as this thing branches out and every cutting's lived and all that, it really does. Like, if this was, say, a standard microcarpa, you know, Green Island, Green Mound, whatever they are, like with the pruning I did today, this thing would just get all kinds of green back in here. It might even get a few pop out here. This one only seems to come out of the ends. Every now and again it'll pop a branch in a strange place, but it only seems to come out of the ends. And eventually, I've got some wire on the mother tree that's been on there for like 3 months. I'll be making a video on that here really, really soon. But you'll see that it just eventually just kind of seems to get a long stalk and some long branching before any real foliage comes about. But should still be pretty nice. As I was wiring it, I was thinking about wiring these two together, but since they are coming straight up, I almost want to prune them too. But this one's still got the growing tip on there. I do want to take that out in the hopes that perhaps it'll back bud a little bit or whatever. That one's real small. I'll leave that one on there. But we'll see how this kind of goes and develops over time. Now I see this one's this branch is coming straight out of the bottom. I don't think I want to keep that. But it should be interesting over time. If you made it this far in the video, you gotta like and subscribe by now. I'm working hard trying to put these together. Hope you're learning something or enjoying yourself. Some people think my voice is very soothing. You could always like play them at night when you're trying to go to bed or something. Maybe I'll put you to sleep. But anyway, like and subscribe, and maybe you'll sleep better.